The enigmatic queen. Early life and rise to power. Family background, exploring Cleopatra's lineage and the complex dynamics within the Ptolemaic dynasty. Education and influences, how Cleopatra's Greek education and exposure to Egyptian culture shaped her worldview. Ascension to the throne, challenges faced by Cleopatra as she seized power in a time of political upheaval. Cleopatra's reign. Political maneuvering and alliances. Relationship with Julius Caesar, the strategic partnership between Cleopatra and the Roman general. Arch Antony and the Second Triumvirate, Cleopatra's alliance with Antony and their quest for power in the Roman world. The Battle of Actium, examining the pivotal naval conflict that led to Cleopatra's downfall. Legacy and controversies. Cultural contributions. Architectural projects, Cleopatra's patronage of grand structures in Alexandria and beyond. Support for arts and scholarship, how Cleopatra fostered a vibrant cultural scene in Egypt. Cleopatra's enduring influence. Gender and power. Cleopatra as a female ruler, analyzing the challenges and opportunities faced by Cleopatra as a woman in a position of authority. The Queen's duality, exploring the complexities of Cleopatra's identity as both a Ptolemaic queen and a symbol of Egyptian culture. Cultural legacy, pop culture and Cleopatra, tracing Cleopatra's depiction in films, literature, and popular culture. Lessons from Cleopatra, reflecting on the lasting impact of Cleopatra's reign and the lessons that can be drawn from her story. Debunking myths and misconceptions. Seductive siren or strategic leader, dispelling myths surrounding Cleopatra's alleged seductive powers and emphasizing her political acumen. Cleopatra's cultural influence. Art and architecture. Alexandria's cultural hub, exploring the vibrant art scene and architectural marvels sponsored by Cleopatra in Alexandria. Temples and monuments, highlighting the construction of temples and monuments dedicated to Egyptian deities during Cleopatra's reign. Cleopatra's downfall. The Battle of Actium and aftermath. Strategies and tactics, detailing the naval battle of Actium and the political fallout for Cleopatra and Mark Antony. Fall of Alexandria, describing the events leading to Cleopatra's surrender to Octavian and the end of her reign. Promotion of Egyptian culture. Revival of Egyptian traditions, discussing Cleopatra's efforts to revive and promote traditional Egyptian customs and beliefs. Blending of Greek and Egyptian cultures, examining how Cleopatra fused Greek and Egyptian cultural elements during her reign. Ziv, Cleopatra's literary legacy. Historical portrayals and misconceptions. Misconceptions in history, addressing common myths and inaccuracies surrounding Cleopatra's life and reign. Challenging stereotypes, addressing gender biases that have influenced historical interpretations of Cleopatra's reign.
Literary patronage, Library of Alexandria, emphasizing Cleopatra's support for the renowned Library of Alexandria and intellectual pursuits. Poetic works, discussing references to Cleopatra in ancient poetry and literature, highlighting her enduring influence on artistic expression. Trade and commerce, economic prosperity, detailing Cleopatra's economic reforms and trade policies that boosted Egypt's wealth and influence. Port cities, exploring the significance of Egyptian port cities like Alexandria in facilitating trade and cultural exchange during Cleopatra's reign. Egyptian fleet, naval strength, describing the composition and capabilities of the Egyptian navy under Cleopatra's command. Maritime dominance, discussing how Cleopatra utilized her naval forces to protect Egypt's interests and project power in the Mediterranean. Cleopatra's legal reforms, justice and law, legal system, exploring Cleopatra's initiatives to reform and modernize Egypt's legal institutions. Equality and justice, highlighting Cleopatra's efforts to promote fairness and equality under the law for her subjects. Cleopatra's health and beauty secrets, Beauty rituals, ancient beauty practices, revealing the beauty rituals and skincare regimens that Cleopatra was reputed to follow. Medical knowledge, discussing Cleopatra's interest in medicine and healthcare practices prevalent during her time. Cleopatra's influence on fashion. Fashion trends, iconic style, exploring how Cleopatra's fashion choices and accessories influenced trends in ancient Egypt and beyond. Symbolism in dress, discussing the symbolic meanings behind Cleopatra's attire and jewelry in conveying power and status. Cleopatra's philanthropic initiatives, charitable works, support for the poor, discussing Cleopatra's efforts to alleviate poverty and provide assistance to marginalized communities. Philanthropic projects, highlighting Cleopatra's contributions to public welfare through infrastructure development and social programs. Cleopatra's multilingualism, language skills, linguistic abilities, highlighting Cleopatra's proficiency in multiple languages, including Greek, Egyptian, Latin, and possibly others. Diplomatic advantage, exploring how Cleopatra's linguistic talents facilitated communication and negotiation with diverse cultures and rulers. Cleopatra's scientific interests. Interest in science, scientific curiosity, discussing Cleopatra's fascination with astronomy, medicine, and other scientific disciplines of her time. Scholarly pursuits, highlighting Cleopatra's patronage of scholars and intellectuals engaged in scientific research and innovation. Cleopatra's religious practices. Spiritual beliefs, religious devotion, exploring Cleopatra's religious affiliations and practices, including her veneration of Egyptian deities. Syncretic faith, discussing how Cleopatra integrated Greek and Egyptian religious traditions in her personal beliefs and public rituals. Cleopatra's environmental policies, stewardship of nature, environmental conservation, detailing Cleopatra's initiatives to preserve Egypt's natural resources and protect the environment. Sustainable practices, discussing Cleopatra's promotion of sustainable agriculture, water management, and urban planning in ancient Egypt. Cleopatra's legacy in artistic representations. Artistic depictions, visual arts, exploring how artists across different periods have portrayed Cleopatra in paintings, sculptures, and other artistic mediums. Symbolism and iconography, discussing the symbolic meanings and cultural significance of Cleopatra's representation in art throughout history. Cleopatra's influence on music and literature. Musical tributes, musical compositions, highlighting songs, operas, and musical works inspired by Cleopatra's life and legend. Literary works, discussing novels, poems, and plays that have reimagined Cleopatra's story and contributed to her enduring literary legacy. Cleopatra's architectural projects, building projects, architectural legacy, exploring the construction projects initiated by Cleopatra to enhance the grandeur of Alexandria and other Egyptian cities. Monuments and temples, highlighting Cleopatra's contributions to the architectural landscape of Egypt, including temples dedicated to Egyptian gods and goddesses. Cleopatra's legacy in education. Scholarly pursuits, support for education, discussing Cleopatra's patronage of schools, libraries, and centers of learning to promote intellectual growth and scholarship. Educational reforms, exploring Cleopatra's initiatives to improve access to education and elevate the status of scholars and educators in ancient Egypt. Cleopatra's influence on gender roles. Empowerment of women, women in leadership, examining Cleopatra's reign as a rare example of a female ruler in the ancient world and its implications for gender equality. Redefining gender norms, discussing how Cleopatra challenged traditional gender roles and stereotypes through her political ambitions and actions. Cleopatra's legacy in popular culture. Modern interpretations, film and television, discussing the portrayal of Cleopatra in contemporary media, including movies, TV shows, and documentaries. Pop culture references, exploring how Cleopatra's image and story have been appropriated in fashion, music, and popular culture. Cleopatra's enduring mystique, enduring fascination, legacy of intrigue, examining the enduring fascination with Cleopatra's life, death, and romantic entanglements that continue to captivate audiences. Unraveling the myth, encouraging viewers to look beyond the myths and legends to uncover the historical truths behind Cleopatra's enigmatic persona. Cleopatra's Philosopher Queen's Intellectual Discourse, Philosophical Patronage, exploring Cleopatra's support for philosophers and thinkers who contributed to intellectual discourse in ancient Egypt. Philosophical Influence, discussing how Cleopatra's patronage of philosophy shaped cultural and intellectual trends during her reign. Cleopatra's legacy in medicine healing traditions, medical innovation, highlighting Cleopatra's interest in medicine and healthcare practices that advanced the field of ancient Egyptian medicine. Healing temples, discussing Cleopatra's support for healing temples and medical facilities that provided care for the sick and injured. Cleopatra's enduring iconography, visual representation, artistic depictions, showcasing a montage of historical artworks and artifacts that portray Cleopatra in various contexts and styles. Iconic imagery, discussing the enduring visual symbols associated with Cleopatra, such as the serpent headdress and the regal attire she is often depicted wearing. The end of an era, Cleopatra's demise, exploring the circumstances surrounding Cleopatra's death and the fate of her children. Octavian's triumph, discussing Octavian's consolidation of power and the transformation of Egypt into a Roman province.